Excited to be here. These are the two things that I think will make the biggest difference in your lives and careers is learning about toughness and also that elusive telephone that people have misinterpreted and misused now for decades, believe it or not. And what I'd like, if you can, make sure you give me your best takeaway. If you want to tweet it, DM me, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Text me 949-298-2905. Your number one takeaway from this training today. I appreciate it. We do have the replay for those people that are watching the replay. Thank you so much. We will have a free guide for everyone today. So make sure you reach out, david@dmeltzer.com, or text me at 949-298-2905. Same if you want a free book. Please just reach out. Training's free. The books are free. The guides are free. I'm here to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, looking for 1,000 of you to help me find another 1,000, to find another 1,000, to create a collective consciousness of happiness. And we're going to do it with toughness and telephone. So let's get started here. Two things that will be distinguishing factors in your success for the future will be toughness and telephone. Toughness involves your relationship to pain and how you manage it. Pain is an indicator, remember? Pain is a turn signal. It's just an indicator that you have a lesson to learn. Physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, financial pain. All of them are just indicators that you need to move in a different direction to better situation or to make your situation better. And pain and toughness are related in the same way. If you manage it correctly, you can enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. And what we want to know is what is that potential and what is the activity that we are looking for in toughness. Well, number one, the idea of work, right? And the toughness of work. I have so many kids that work for me right now. And I always say the one thing that seems different to me today is the toughness category. You know, it seems like everybody's feelings get hurt or they get tired or distracted. I think that ADD is a matter of toughness. It's tough to stay focused. Any activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result is what we define as work. Remember that. Activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result is work. And so if that, the pursuit, right, mental or physical effort is a pursuit of what you want, then we better learn to love what we do, and it reduces the activity that we call work. We'll call that play. Even though it takes mental and physical effort, if we enjoy it, if we learn to love it, we now translate work into play. I always tell the story about the Padres that, you know, the guy who plays second base for the San Diego Padres, he goes to work every day. But meanwhile, I paid $2 million a year to play second base for the Padres. And he makes $2 million a year. The team could save a total of a margin of $4 million, and we probably still would come in the same place as we did last year, which is last. But why is it work and why is it play? Because of toughness. Sometimes I get paid for work and sometimes I get paid for play. So how can I convert my work into looking at toughness and looking at how do we work better, efficient? We can work hard, right? Work hard, make hard physical and mental and play smart that we want. But where I see people is you need to work long. Now, we already talked about working hard. That includes long hours. But when I say work long, that requires faith. In order to work long, you need faith. And what do you need faith in? Well, you know, I gave earlier today on Instagram a lily pond example of toughness and how tough it is to have activity involving mental and physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result when we don't see the result. If we don't see the result, it takes faith. And so we need to work long. If you had a lily pond and I told you that it would take 30 years to fill the lily ponds, and it started with one lily pad, and I told you that every year the lily pads would double. Most people, when I asked them how many years would it take to fill that lily pad, would tell me that it would take 15 years. But the truth is, it would take 29 years. And to get to 25%, it would take 28 years. And so we have to work long. We have to be tough in order to consistently, persistently pursue our potential when it takes us 28 years for a 30-year objective to get to just a quarter of the way, and 29 years to get to half the way, and all 30 years to get all the way. Because our mind gets confused and it thinks, oh, well, it's 15 years. I should be at least halfway there. That's not the way that exponential growth works, or acceleration. Well, the first kind of toughness is physical toughness. And it's one that I think a lot of people diminish when they talk about being tough, especially when it's in work and play. And so in order to understand that toughness, we need to understand that health is your number one priority. Your health should be your number one priority, because it doesn't matter how mentally or emotionally tough you are if physically you can't make it. How many people come, oh, I'm too tired to do that. I'm too tired to play. I'm too tired to work. I'm too tired to have time with my family. I'm too tired to listen to you. I'm too tired to help you. I'm too tired. I'm too tired. Well, I always prioritize my family first, and then the work or activity, as we say, that was involving my mental and physical effort to achieve the results that I wanted, the work that I was doing second, and then my health. And a couple of years ago, we really rebounded from 2008 and everything was going our way. So I asked my wife, I said, what can I do for you? Anything in the world, what can I buy you? What can I do for you? And what she said was, you need to take care of yourself. Number one, you need to take care of yourself first. Because if you take care of yourself, then you'll be able to take care of everyone else. And I know that you will. So my physical health now is my number one priority. Because if I'm not physically tough enough to make it through 16 hours of productivity, and make it through 2 times the amount of efficiencies, and to make it through 2 times the amount of statistical success, to provide me that 64 hours of productivity 7 days a week, if I'm not physically tough enough, if I'm too tired to wake up at 4 a.m., if I'm too tired to make it through the activity I get paid for, and too tired to make it through the activity I don't get paid for, if I'm too tired to inspire others and elevate others to elevate others, what good is all the other toughness that I have? What good is it if I learned all of the mental and emotional things if physically my being can't withstand it? So make your health your priority. The second toughness that I want to talk about is mental toughness. Mental toughness takes 3 different things. It takes motivation, it takes conversion, and inspiration. Now, most of you know motivation is the ability to get up, get back up, get started, get back started. But what is conversion? Conversion is the thing that allows us to go from motivation in all 3 of the different worlds into inspiration, right? Motivation is a short-term fuel. It'll get you through to, but it's not going to get you, it'll get you through, but not to. And so conversion is critical. Now there's 3 worlds. We start out in a very scarce world of not enough, right? And how do we convert from not enough, I don't have enough, from the scarce world, and get motivated and convert into just enough, right? The world of not enough is a scarce world. You're a victim. The world of toughness and the world of not enough is why me? Why me? I hear it all the time. Why me? You need to convert to try me. And when you convert to try me, you use gratitude, forgiveness, accountability in order to effectuate converting your why me attitude, which you're just going to attract more of why me, to a try me attitude. And if you go from the world of not enough to the world of just enough, where now at least you have just enough for you, and you can give stuff away, and you have the ability to convert that into the world of more than enough, the world I want you to live in, the world of happiness, more than enough of everything for everyone. And how do we do that? Well, we use gratitude, empathy, and accountability to move from the why me world to the try me world. But how do we move from the try me world to the world of literally more than enough of everything to everyone? Well, the conversion that we use to get to that inspired world is in our relationship between giving and receiving. See, what happens to us when we're in the try me world, we're no longer a victim. Things aren't happening to us. We're not punished, right? We're not living in blame, shame, and justification. But now we have to understand that it's not a matter of the more that we give, the more that we get. It's a matter of, I want to receive so I can give more, because I'm confident and faithful that there's more. If you're completely sure that there's an infinity of everything for everyone, then you won't mind receiving it all because you know there's more. You won't feel guilty. You won't create shortages, voids, or obstacles. You won't feel not worthy. You won't have the imposter syndrome. You'll literally be waking up inspired in the world of more than enough to all of it to be received through you with appreciation, gratitude, and adding your value to give it away to everything else that you're connected to. So we convert from the world of why me to try me by gratitude, empathy, and accountability. And then we convert from the world of try me into the world of more than enough by using our relationship of receiving and giving. No longer is it a scarce world that there's just enough for me. So if I give it away, there might not be enough for me. No, there's more than enough. So I receive as much as I can because I know there's enough for everyone. And I give it all away because I know there's enough for everyone. That's the key to inspiration in spirit, knowing that we are always connected to the infinity, to everything for everyone, and we're able to give it all away. A tree has no branches, everyone. We're all connected. Allow it to come through you with appreciation for others. The second toughness that needs to be worked on is emotional toughness, right? You need to have an emotional, you need to be tough with your feelings. Now, this is very confusing because I used to say, especially with the younger people that I work with in the mentoring programs and the intern programs and the extern programs and Junior Achievement, Chancellor University and I Innovate University and all these places that I'm at. And I'm like, man, these kids, they get their feelings hurt so easily. Once again, I'm a hypocrite. I am a hypocrite because I started realizing, a lot of people ask Gary and I, like, how do you just don't care what other people think? You're so emotionally tough. You're voting for what you want. Nobody could hurt your feelings. And what I realized was I get my feelings hurt all the time. One of the biggest needs of my ego is the need to be offended. The difference is that I don't allow it to last, right? It's all the timing factor of understanding I'm a ferocious Buddha. And when somebody hurts my feelings, somebody attacks me, right? I just quickly am ferocious about stopping and dropping to center into my peace, into myself, into my higher self, where there are no attacks, where I illuminate all that I am and I allow things to happen. And then I'm able to move in the right trajectory, where before I get my feelings hurt as much as anybody at any age. The difference is it lasts moments, not minutes, not days, not weeks, not months, not years. And so what we need to learn in toughness is not just physical toughness, but mental toughness, but emotional toughness. We need to be a ferocious Buddha. You have to be ferocious about stopping and getting out of that feeling fast and then dropping down and moving in the right trajectory by utilizing it. We have what I call I wish I didn't say that problem. Right? Everybody has moved into an area of hypersensitivity that things get last and perpetuated and escalated. And we all say, I wish I didn't say that. Gosh, I wish I didn't say a whole bunch of things. But I want to go ahead and forgive myself and forgive others for what I may say that hurts somebody and what they may say that hurts me. I want to move through this in a much faster direction in order to accommodate the connectivity that we have between each other and the bond of intent that we have to make each other happy, to live in this world of more than enough. We also have what I call a crying problem. And, talk about being a hypocrite. Nobody cries more than me. I always joke around because I cry in my lives. I cry in LinkedIn. I cry on the stage. I cry everywhere because I'm in touch with my emotions. And I would say, it doesn't work unless I cry. But the crying problem is not people crying, right? I love when my employees cry because they either feel like they disappoint, it just means that they're so emotionally attached to the business and to what they're trying to do that they care so much. I'm okay with the crying. I'm okay with them sharing personal issues and crying and sharing those emotions. But the crying problem is, one, people feel terrible for crying. And then two, it's the recovery. How long does it take to get back to center? Let that go. You got to let it all out, but then let's get back to center. Don't live in the world of why me, right? I'm fine with you crying and sharing your emotions for whatever it may be, boyfriend, girlfriend issues, business issue. I don't care. You care. You're an emotional person. That means you have more energy going through you. But you got to get back to center. You cannot live in the why me. You have to at least go to the try me, and if not even further, into the more than enough realm. You know, we welcome, when pain is an indicator, we welcome it because we're expanding and growing. The last practice of toughness, and remember, toughness is something that I see as a huge advantage moving forward. People don't look at toughness, right? We're living in an instant gratification, totally enabled, completely, pain-free, right? We try to manage pain with alcohol and drugs and all types of other things instead of learning to love. Instead of learning to find the light, the love, and the lessons and everything, instead of getting physical, mental, emotional, literally toughness. But we don't do it unless we incorporate the practice of ending fear. And in order to be tough, right, tough and fear go hand in hand. It's just, how do we deal with fear? It's just like hurting your feelings. It's never going to stop. It's how quickly can you handle it, and what can you learn from it, expand and grow? Can you find the light, the love, and the lessons? Can you learn to love work, activity, and mental activity that's moving towards your goal or your objective or your potential? Can you do that? Well, how do we practice ending fear? Well, we practice ending fear by identifying what we're afraid of and illuminating it, and then being a ferocious Buddha and going back to center and moving in the right trajectory. Make a practice of ending fear, and you'll be the toughest one around. Next, I think part of being tough is to understand this great communication device that was created a long time ago called the telephone. And the telephone is a tool, right? And make sure the telephone's the tool, not the person using it. And I see a lot of times the person using it is more the tool than the device itself. And if you want to be successful in the future, if you want to distinguish yourself, we have to go back to the purpose of a telephone. The purpose of a telephone is called a handheld communication device. Right? That's been the purpose of the telephone, is to be able to pick it up with your hand and have a handheld device that allows you to communicate with someone else. And it has been enhanced. I was the CEO of the world's first smartphone with a Windows CE device. I don't think that even exists today, but it was the first phone that used Wi-Fi, had Bluetooth on it. It was extraordinary in 1999. Talk about a long time ago. But it still was just a communication device. But the reason the telephone today is the distinguishing factor for success, and the distinguisher of you is that it is the greatest funnel that has ever been created. It is the greatest funnel because it allows you not only to work the top of the funnel, right, which is the key to a successful funnel, but it allows you to create a greater return on investment than any type of funnel, web funnel, any type of platform that's out there. The telephone itself. Why? Because the number one success statistic of a funnel is how many people you put into the funnel. And there's no better way to get people into your funnel than to talk to them on the telephone. That's because over 80% of the people that you try to get into your funnel, whichever funnel that may be, right? It could be on the web, it could be, on a platform, it could be in person, whatever it is, we funnel people through marketing into a shared vision, into a management and development of that vision, into thriving. But the best way to do it is by telephone. Over 80% of the people never get into the funnel that we ask. So you now have to determine what's the best way to ask. Well, what's the greatest AI that exists? What's the greatest converter ever? You are. And what's the easiest way to communicate? What's the least crowded space, the least crowded mile, the empty mile of communication? The telephone call. The telephone call. Why? Because 80% of the people or more never call you back or never email you back or never DM you back or never get back to you. But if you know how to use a telephone, you can segment that and stimulate interest. So when I'm calling and to fill my funnel and I'm calling somebody, I have a greater statistical success because I'm capable of only dialing in, number one, to get somebody to call me back. It's the only funnel to get somebody to call me back that I can actually use what I've learned and get them to call me back by the telephone. And then if they do call me back, the statistical success of what I can do is incredible on the telephone. Forget the voice being a matter of vibration and frequency. One of the oldest, right? Sound vibrates. Sound vibrates, then light, then thought, then truth. But sound vibrates. And that's why music can move us. So can your voice. So does my voice. Whether you're listening to this or watching it, it's my voice that's resonating with you, that's moving you, that allows you to be attracted to me. Let's use our voice more often. And let's make those phone calls. The other side of using a telephone is how to deal with no, right? The first thing I can do with no is that if I can practice ending fear and be tough, then I can utilize the 25 no rule. You know, perception is everything. I told one of my buddies I was playing golf, I said, why don't you play golf next time and just pretend that you have an extra stroke on every hole. Just change it to all part threes or fours, fours or fives and fives or sixes. Watch how much better you do. Watch. Same thing here. If you tell yourself when you're calling, right, I'm only 25 no's from getting what I want, you'll be excited after 5 no's. You'll be ecstatic after 10 no's. You'll be super excited after 20, and imagine 24, how excited you'll be. Your whole perspective of no, which no is the greatest fear that you have on the telephone. That's why people don't call, is because they don't want to hear no. They don't want to feel rejection. They don't want their feelings hurt. But if you're tough and you know that you're always going to get your feelings hurt, it's just a matter how quickly you can get over it. And you realize that you're only so many no's from getting what you want. It's so unbelievably positive how you can find the light, the love, and the lessons and be inspired to keep on calling and moving from a world of just enough into the world of more than enough clients for you, more than enough opportunity for you. The other rule of no is the rule of 3 in the phone call. After they're in our funnel and we're managing and developing the expectations, I say that when we're calling someone, that I have a 3 no rule. If somebody sets up a call with me and for whatever reason they don't answer, that's 1 no. If I actually talk to them and they give me a no, that's 2 no's. If I end up late, distracted, miss the call myself, that's 3 no's. No matter what happens, I put faith in the laws of the universe. I put faith into everything happening at the right way at the perfect time. And I will let somebody know after 3 no's of any kind, hey, I need to put my focus and attention and intention onto things that are happening in the right way at the perfect time, that people are corresponding and communicating effectively. So if you're willing to do that, I'm more than happy to move forward. But if not, call me when you're ready. 50% of the time, people never call me back, and that's a blessing. Because I wish I could have every hour, minute, week, month, year back that I wasted banging my head against the closed door. I wish I could take all that time back and just have used the 3 no rule, because 50% of the time the people do call me back and they say, hey, it is the right time. It is the perfect place. Let's go ahead and move forward. Use that 3 no rule. Remember, it takes just as much energy to change one person with a closed mind ideas than it does just as much energy for 1,000 people with an open mind. So use your energy to talk to the people with the open mind that are willing and receptive. And how do we know if they have an open mind? Well, not only mind, but know that the universe is working in our favor. Use 3 no's to determine that. And don't get discouraged. You're working long. Use the 25 no rule as you're calling different people to continue on motivated, inspired, and converting and staying in the world of more than enough. One of the tricks that I've learned is called the alter ego effect. Todd Herman wrote a book called The Alter Ego Effect. And I didn't even know that I used this effect when I was calling. But if you have trouble calling people, change your name. Use your middle name, use your boss's name, change your name. Watch what happens. Your energy will be different. Why? Because they can't hurt your feelings more because your name's Dave Meltzer. Right? Your name's David or Steve or Tank or Doug. It doesn't matter. Change your name. You know, I used to put a card, right, of my favorite running back, Walter Payton. I put him right into my thigh pad. I'm not even sure they have those girdles anymore, but I slip it right into my girdle when I played college football. Walter Payton. Alter ego effect. It's amazing how we can get our ego, the practice of ending fear, by pretending we're somebody else. It's a proven way of overcoming the self-doubt, negativity, insecurity that you hold back and empower you to ultimately become your best self, your potential. It's amazing. It's amazing how we can change our energy. And the telephone is such an effective way. Lastly, I'm going to tell a quick story about how powerful this alter ego effect or our mind and perception are with mental, emotional, and physical toughness, of being able to use a tool the way that it was meant to use and not allow it to be used or use us by sucking our souls and our attention and our energy and negativity and our time via watching. Let's go out and fill our funnels in the most effective, efficient, and statistically successful way. So when I was young, there was a skit called the Jerky Boys. And what they would do is they would cold call people and they would crank call people. And they would do silly cranks, and make fun of people. Hey, where your refrigerator is running down the street or whatever, just stupid stuff. They hate jerky, and they'd insult people and they'd attack them. The funniest thing about that was when I was listening to it, I was just working with West Publishing. I was running a big sales force. I couldn't believe that people would hang on to the phone, right? I couldn't believe, why would they just sit there on the phone when this guy's obviously just making fun of them? And so I decided to try something with my sales force. I decided to say, look, I'm going to give a contest and a bonus. I want to see who can get somebody off the phone the fastest. I want to see who can get someone off the phone fastest. So I had them calling, insulting people, getting off the phone, trying to push them. Hey, you don't want this. Ironically, on average, the people would stay on twice as long. Why? Because of the energy of it. They had a different alter ego effect. They were able, because they didn't care, they weren't going to get their feelings hurt. They weren't afraid of no. In fact, they were pursuing no. They ended up getting people to stay on longer and actually converting them to yes. We can distinguish ourselves today. We can make major advancements by understanding toughness. You cannot live in the why me world. You have to understand that everything will hurt your feelings in one way or another. You just have to get your feelings back under control and be a ferocious Buddha. You have to physically be tough to handle everything that you want to do. You have to be mentally tough to do what you want to do. You have to be emotionally tough. You need to practice ending fear, and we need to learn how to use the telephone to fill our funnels so the more people in the funnels, the more successful we're going to be. If over 80% of the people never enter our funnel, imagine if we can double and make it only 40% of the people. Imagine what that does to the downstream, and then you can work on the conversion side of it. Utilize toughness and telephone, and you will enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Thank you so much. All right, let's go right to Q&A. Woo! All right, Janet, thank you for coming. Remember, everybody, you can get the free training guide. You can get my free book. Friday training next is going to be all Q&A. So I know that I get to ask everybody questions all the time. More people want some of these questions. So ask me anything, open-ended, close-ended, summary questions. It doesn't matter. Come next Friday. We're doing a Q&A for everybody. Come with any questions that you have. We're going to give you a little bit of taste of it right here. 949-298-2905. Text me for the free book guide, or the replay if you want that. And david@dmeltzer.com. All right. What's the best advice you have to building you really forgive and move on? It's really possible to have at least a relationship, or is it because themselves, sorry, and have or is it because the wounds are so deep, it's not specifically to a mom or dad relationship? But first of all, in my busy. Sometimes I think, why do I make things so difficult on myself by talking about business and raising money and being a coach? Business on mommy and daddy relationship. Give what you don't have. Yes, you need to teach. Now that's the potential. Some people, I'm not quite there either, Janet, yet, but I'm working on it. Yes, you can't give what you don't have. You need to ask yourself, I'm so hurt. Why is it? What is it about me? You're a projector. Turn the camera inside to see what you're projecting. How the energy won't allow to not forgive you as well. I promise you, it's very difficult, but if you can focus understanding why you're so hurt, why your feelings are so hurt, what obstacles and shortages in your relationships, projecting them onto them. Take accountability. Find the forgiveness. I find once you find and have peace, they will have peace with you. Guarantee. Not easy, but practicing it. Happiness. Alex. Pursuit of happiness is attaching your emotions to an outcome. Pursuit, meaning happiness is the enjoyment of the consistent every day, persistent without quit, pursuit of your potential. Happiness is the pursuit. Sorry, Chris Gardner. It's happiness. It was communication with inspiration. Happiness versus value/meaning. Well, happiness is the meaning that we give what we intend. Everything in our lives we intended. That's why we're accountable for it, right? We intended it to be here. We can't just always figure out why or how we intended it. So we ask ourselves, what did I do to attract this to myself? And what am I supposed to learn from it? But we intend everything that we see and we give meaning to it ourselves. And so if we give a happy meaning, meaning we find the light, the love, and the lessons, we use pain as an indicator that we have lessons to learn, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain, boom. That's how happiness and meaning and value are all interrelated through intent and what we've intended and given meaning to. Thoughts on the phrase, tough times don't last, tough people do. Well, that's exactly what this training is about, right? A why me person sees things as tough times. A try me person has no problem with it. It's just an indicator that they have something to learn. True enlightened individuals, which I'm not there yet, can't even get excited about it, right? You see these incredible people like Colin Brady and Jesse Itzler and just a variety of Wim Hof. They're able to truly use pain as an indicator to do unfathomable feats of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual growth that we can't even fathom are possible. One of the original, examples of this is Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister was told by medical doctors and scientists that the human body could not run a 4-minute mile. Ironically, once he realized that he's a tough person, in the next 2 weeks, several people broke 4-minute miles. That's exactly what we want you. He's a try me person, not a why me person. Who is the toughest person you've ever met? Toughest person I've ever met. I don't know. Ray Lewis is a pretty tough guy. And it's interesting because Ray Lewis isn't the most talented linebacker in the NFL has ever seen. He's a Hall of Famer, et cetera. But unequivocally, most Hall of Famers, professional players, coaches, all would say that Ray Lewis is the best linebacker to have played, arguably. And the reason is, when he grabbed my leg when I met with him and I asked him the question, he said, because I'm willing to die. Because when he stepped on the field, he basically was saying, I was willing to give it all. And that's pretty tough. and mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. That guy is tough, and he is a try me person all the way and infectious towards everybody, which is why he continues to grow and accelerate and expand. And guess what he has more than anything else? He has faith. Faith to be what he must be, to consistently, persistently pursue his potential. Ray Lewis has faith to be what he must be. Listen to him. It reeks from him. It's bothersome to some people, right? I have to tone it down sometimes because I don't want to be like Ray, always on. And it's like, whoa, but it's awesome. He is allowing things to come through him with that passion, purpose, and profitability. Mikey Miller, with the deteriorating effects of stimulants like coffee and energy drinks, any tips for improving your physical energy level? Yeah. So, be more interested than interesting and be consistent every day on increasing your energy. What's stopping your energy is not necessarily the drinks themselves. It's the interference and corrosion that they cause you, right? The aggregate of what they cause you. And look, you have to live your life through your own values. And, it's not going to be, where you live. You could play or visit a cup of coffee. So that's where balance comes in. But the true idea of power in energy is that we're connected to the greatest source of energy of all times, at all times. And we're the ones who cause interference, corrosion to that connection. And we do it by not sleeping enough, by working out, by not eating right, by using stimulants and drugs and alcohol and all these are things that just interfere with that energy. And so the more that you do them consistently and persistently, the more interference or corrosion you're going to have. If you visit there, you may not see a deeming effect. But I promise you, if you consistently, persistently get in the way or put focus in on or intend interference and corrosion to that energy, you're going to get interference and corrosion. And if you intend to clear the interference and corrosion, that's what's going to happen as well. I love your passion, intensity, and vulnerability, David. Thank you. I'm trying to be myself, not the best I can. I appreciate that. I want to help our economy recover, and I'm having a frustrating time. I sourced a great solution for temperature scanners and need help getting the schools, businesses, etc. Aware that these are here now and are not found anywhere. The quality, quantity, and price I'm offering them for help. Greg, you live at this vibration. You live at this vibration of our earth. And as much as you may think that everyone and everything on earth, that in as much as your solution may be great, we live at this world. There may be something greater. You need to crawl before you walk, before you run. If it was that great, all you need to do is to enjoy the consistent pursuit of your potential. Take inventory of your values every day, ask and attract, ask for help like you're doing, right? Ask for help, ask how you can be of service or value, and just know that you got to get one school or one business and have them use it and tell everybody the quality, quantity, and price are beyond anybody else. And if that's true, the vibration and frequency will work for your favor. It'll work by itself, right? You need to be realistic. Focus in on one. Be the Noah's Ark of temperature scanners. Get it in one place and tell those people to tell other people if it's as good as you say you are. And keep asking for help. Be as efficient, effective, and statistically successful as you can. And you will help our economy recover. But you got to get one school or one business and allow them to experience it, to tell one school or one business. It doesn't happen overnight. People don't just say, oh, this is the greatest thing, and it just happens. You may not see, just like the lily pond, the first 28 years. You may only see something when it gets to the 25%. So stick to it, stay consistent, persistent, enjoy the pursuit, but ask and attract, accelerate as fast as you can, but detach your emotions from the outcome, and you will get there much faster. And thank you for helping and trying to help our economy. Reiko, how to discover what fear you have that's holding you back. Identifying fear is the first practice of being a ferocious Buddha. And the best way to find what fear is holding you back is use your feelings as a thermostat in order to identify where fear exists. Fear can be body tested. It's an emotion. It's an energy emotion. So if you are very aware of your frequency of your feelings, and that's why I meditate in the morning. I want to have the highest frequency in the morning that I can. Use that as a baseline to know what I'm doing, right? That's why I do it. So what we want to do is go ahead and identify each time. Oh, I have a need to be offended. That's why I don't feel good. Oh, I'm anxious. That's why I don't feel good. I'm worried. I'm feeling separate. I'm feeling inferior. I'm feeling superior. I'm feeling angry, frustrated, guilty. Oh, now I know what's holding me back. Use your feelings as a thermostat, and you'll identify as a ferocious Buddha that which is getting in your own way and creating interference and voids to that unbelievable source of energy besides coffee and energy drinks. All right, Noah, how do you get their numbers to call them in the first place? Right on, Noah. So you ask for them. It's amazing. In person, on the phone, via email, we don't ask for numbers. If you need numbers, ask for them. Ask, oh, do you know anybody that can help me? Oh, got their number? On the email, hey, can you give me your number? I'd like to have a call. Via social media, hey, leave your number here. I'll give you a call back. So many times, people are unexpectedly, hey, I want to talk to you about this. Well, here's my phone number. Call me. Just ask for the numbers from you or sponsors or power sponsors. Don't see people as gatekeepers. They're not trying to, tree has no branches, I said earlier. We're not trying to keep each other away from each other, right? We don't have to go over the wall. We don't have to go under the wall. We don't have to go around the wall. There's a little key called asking, and you just turn the key and go right through the door and right through the wall. But you got to ask and make a consistent, persistent behavior of asking. Ask for phone numbers everywhere, every place, in person, on the phone, via email and media, radio, print, TV, and social media. Hey, give me your number. I'd like to give you a call. Next question. How do you cold call? Do you send an email first or reach out via social media before calling? Well, if you've reached out before via some other platform, it's probably not a cold call, right? You've already started to transition interest or get alignment. A cold call to me is when we're able to do one thing: get someone to call us back, get somebody to email us, get somebody to follow us on social media. A cold call is to increase that number of people that will come to the top of my funnel. If they're already in an email reach or a social media connection, you already have it, right? You've already started the process of the top of the funnel. So a cold call has one purpose. Over 80% of the time it has one purpose: to get the person to call you back. That's because 80% of the time that you make a phone call, people don't answer. But if you're able to get them to call you back, what a benefit, what an exponentiality it gives and accelerates your business and your objectives. It's amazing. People that know how to get people to call them back. The greatest cold callers just know how to get people to call them back. Most people know how to transition interests with credibility, emotional attachment, and quantifying and articulating the reasons, impacts, and capabilities to quantify those via the features and benefits of whatever solution it is. And I can teach you all of that. Once again, too, guides, please, I know we're halfway through. Books, guides, training, whatever it is, text me 949-298-2905 or email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll send you everything for free, including I have a sheet on cold calling, 5 to Thrive, that I can give you. What are the ways to help better your mindset to achieve your goals? Practice. Your mindset, your heart set, they're muscles. Just like if you're going to practice shooting free throws, you're going to shoot free throws. You need to practice that mindset, which is taking inventory of your values, asking and attracting, being a student in your calendar, doing it now, and practicing ending fear. 5 steps to a complete practice of mindset to empower yourself, to strengthen that mindset of perception into the world of more than enough. Can you explain ending fear again? Yeah, absolutely. So fear, number one step of fear is to be a ferocious Buddha, which means you need to be ferocious of not just using your feelings as a thermostat. Don't use your bank account as a thermostat. Don't use your job as a thermostat. Use the way you feel as a thermostat. And a ferocious Buddha, when you're not feeling at your highest frequency, if you're not feeling happy, if you're not feeling good, if you're not feeling God, if you're not feeling that great source of energy that you're already connected to, then stop, which will take a ferocious effort, and then drop as a Buddha into center, into neutrality, into peace, so that you can then pick and choose the right trajectory, the most efficient, effective, and statistical successful direction to move, and be ferocious about moving in that manner. And when we do that, we can practice ending fear. Until we identify what is in us, we can't identify what's causing the interference and corrosion to the greatest source of power, energy, in life. We can't do it. So we need to go and start using our thermostat of feelings, right? And that's where toughness comes on, because if you're going to use your thermostat of feelings, you want to know when you feel, somebody's hurt you, or you're being hurt, or there's a shortage, voids, obstacles, or challenge, that you need to be tough. What does toughness mean? It's the speed in which we can get back to center. That's what people physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally get back to center. All of those things that we discussed earlier. And that's how we practice ending fear. Identify it, be ferocious about stopping it, getting back to center, and moving in the right direction. Very simple process of practicing ending fear. Very difficult process of doing. It is a practice, a lifelong journey to pursue your potential in that manner. If you want to target people to call, how can you work to use the telephone to get in contact with them? Just calling the office and asking to speak with them? Well, first of all, yes, if you have the attitude that everyone is a sponsor, right? You literally, and you use the 3-no rule and the 25-no rule, right? It is still a numbers game. If we're going to move from over 80% of the people won't call you back or be interested, even down to 70%, which will have a significant difference in your success, let alone to 60, 50, 40, 30, amazing difference. You have to use all the different techniques that you know of being more interested than interesting. You have to know in order to, 1, be credible on the phone, 2, emotionally attached, and be able to articulate the purpose of the call quantitatively to get them to call you back. You need to figure out the best way to do that. And there's a thing called the internet that allows you to do a ton of different research. There's also a thing called sponsorship and power sponsorship, where if you're not consistently asking in person, on the phone, via email and media, hey, do you know anyone that could help me? And then using that person to help you get that other person on the phone. Sometimes the person that you're asking, do you know anyone that can help you, could actually help you themselves. That's what I call a power sponsor. There's so many different ways to get to yes. You just can't be afraid of no, and you got to be tough, and you got to know how to use the telephone with your main objective of getting someone to talk to you, either calling you back or talk to you when you call. Once you do that, then you can implement the 5 to Thrive mechanism in order to effectuate statistical success, to get them through what is in actuality a funnel in order to share a vision. And you're only 20% of the way there after you go through all that. Because as we talked about last week, 80% of the time should be spent managing and developing a vision with a go, no go plan in order to effectuate value of receiving more, so you can give it all away, so you can receive even more and create a flow of value and of abundance, confirming the world you live in, confirming the world of more than enough, not just enough. You don't need to buy a whole bunch of stuff you don't need to impress people you don't like, but a world of more than enough where you can have a huge impact by allowing everything to come through you, buying things for other people to change and impact lives so that they can be happy, so you can change the way they feel. When you change the way they feel, you'll change the way they see things and intend things and give meaning to things. Happy people don't get sick. Happy people don't attack other people. It's amazing how we can change a collective consciousness via these simple uses of a telephone and being tough enough to understand no. Billy, am I able to rewatch this anytime? Yes, anytime you want, you can rewatch it. We have all the links. You go to dmeltzer.com. You can go to YouTube and search me. And on Monday's podcasts are all of these as well. You can go to my podcast, The Playbook, download it on all the platforms. Please rewatch it again and again and again. It's all free. You can get my books for free, the guides for free, david@dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905. Please rewatch these things. Consistent, persistent behavior. I don't remember half the stuff I say. I have to rewatch it. Sarah, what do you mean by changing your name? How often would you do it? Look, I wouldn't lie to anyone, right? So, I use it as a practice to show the alter ego, to see how can I switch myself out of my own way. So, I'm not going to, say that, I'm somebody else, etc. I just practice it. So I might just practice and make 10 calls and say, with my boss who's next to me, that I'm him. And so that he's listening to the whole call. So if my boss's name is Mike, I would call and say, hey, this is Mike. But just to feel the difference of what my ego is doing to me, what fear is doing to me, what my fear of getting my feelings, what not being tough, of living in a why me world is doing to me. And once I practice it and I can go back to using my own name. But I would, partner with someone as you scale to do that. There's a variety of different ways to use the alter ego effect. Read the book from Todd Herman, great book, by the way, in order to effectuate a whole bunch of things in life. Any particular books to get into the abundance mindset? My favorite books to get into the abundance mindset is Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Power of Intention, A Course in Miracles. Those are three of my favorite ones. Viktor Frankl's book as well, A Man's Meaning. There's just a variety. Those are some of the good ones. And feel free, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll give you a bunch of books according to the situational knowledge you're looking for. Remember, surround yourself with the right people and the right ideas. Thank you. Get the bottom look at my chin here. I'm looking up and down at all the different screens. Chase, I have a financial analyst background, 4 years of it, but I'm trying to get into business development. What's the best way to convince a company you have those skills? Prove it, right? Please reach out to me, though, by the way, because you're a perfect candidate to work with Marshall Falk and I, the Hall of Fame running back. We're looking for people that have financial analyst backgrounds that want to get in business development. So we may have a great opportunity for you. Anyone else out there that wants to talk to Marshall and I about that? We're building a team with that type of thing in mind. But the best way to convince anyone of the skills that you have is to display your skills. And for me, I always say display your capabilities, which is bigger than just your skills. You want to be able to display your skills, your knowledge, and most importantly, your desire, right? I will take any day of the week a must be what they can be person. I don't care. I can teach them the skills. I can give them books to read. I can give them the knowledge, but I cannot teach. I can motivate at a different level somebody that must be what they can be. I can convert, as we talked about early, somebody that must be what they can be. And I can inspire somebody that must be what they can be to a whole different level. So I would illustrate to those people, display to them, show them by doing what your capabilities, your skills, your knowledge, and your desire are. Please reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com, though, Chase. I think you might want to talk to us. Derek, I really want to send today's message replay to a few friends that need to hear this. How do I do that? Thanks, Dee. Once again, go to dmeltzer.com, YouTube, please. They're all there, replay. And my playbook, every Monday's playbook is these trainings. So you can go to the playbook on iTunes, on Google Play, wherever you want to reach it. They're out there. And if you're having trouble, just email me or text me, 949-298-2905, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll hook you all up. Morgan, who were your mentors that helped you improve your sales mindset and realize the most success? My number one sales mentor was a guy named Michael Bosworth, who wrote a book called Solution Selling. And believe it or not, my ego was so far in my own way that I rejected him and told him no so many times. I was what he called an ego. Yeah, he called me an ego. He called me an eagle who had a big ego. Because when I was 25 years old, he took a liking to me. He was from San Diego. He wrote a book. He later sold his company for millions to SPI. He was an amazing guy. But I gave him a hard time. I was like, dude, you don't need to do any of this stuff. And he was a great mentor. He taught me so much about humility, of being of service and of value, of asking for help and providing value and asking and learning and being more interested than interesting. I wish I was with the CEO of Dippin' Dots today. I wish I could remember. He gave me the Southern version of being more interested than interesting, or something like, I wanted to be a learner, not a knower. Yeah, I want to be a learner, not a knower. That's what he taught me how to be. Great mentor. Also, spin selling. I also believe that Course in Miracles and Think and Grow Rich are two great sales mindset. Brian Tracy is another one. Ken Blanchard. Tons of them out there. Just It's which ones relate to you, right? Everyone has great messaging. It's what is resonating with you. It's not what I say, it's what you hear. And if you're not hearing what I'm saying, it doesn't matter what I'm saying. All right, how do I sell real estate property more effectively and not so popular of location? Number one, why are you selling real estate and not a popular location? I mean, if you're going to sell real estate, why not sell it in the popular location? Your license allows you to do that, doesn't it? If you're going to sell it in a less popular, then you need to be able to articulate value. It doesn't matter what the location is. That's one of the components. It's just one of the key components, location, 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 in order to effectuate efficiency and statistical success. I have no problem selling properties that are in great locations. So I've stayed away from ever trying to sell a property or buy a property in a bad location because there's too many properties in great locations. But if you have to, then you have to put quantitative reasons, impacts, and capabilities on all the other things besides location. It's that simple. And then get to a point where you're very secure and confident in communicating. Can you see any reason why you won't want to buy this property, even though it's in a bad location? Make sure you illuminate that you know it's in a bad location. Don't over-exaggerate, oversell, back-end sell, lie, manipulate, or cheat. The minute you lose that credibility, you lose that customer forever, let alone that property. All right, what's the easiest step to take in order to begin ending fear? The easiest step to take is, number one, know your feelings, right? Use your feelings as a baseline, because then you can determine and identify what's taking you off of that center. All right, looks like we have time for one more. Remember, get your free guides, right? 949-298-2905. David@dmeltzer.com. The replays are on Google, iPlay, iTunes, YouTube, dmeltzer.com, all the replays. Get my book, dmeltzer.com/book. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com, to get the book, to get the guides, to get the replays. Please, please, please. Last question, it's noon on the dot. Any tips on how you best deal with the emotional toughness in those few seconds before moving on? Yes, breathe. Breathe. 6 breaths of the ferocious Buddha, in through your nose, straight spine, out through your mouth. Breathe as if you're sucking in air from the end of the universe all the way through you for others, back out to the end of the universe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Be a ferocious Buddha. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. This has been Toughness and Telephone. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Have a great day.